What's up, guys? Iceman here. Welcome to Meditations. Appreciate y'all for coming by. Like this video if you will, subscribe to the page, and swat the bell so you're notified next time I post a video. And blessings to my patrons, links in the description below. So I have this book here. Stoicism. Stoicism. Is that how you say that? Let me know in the comments below. But a lot of my being, I think, is sort of surrounded around this stuff. I know there's the Marcus Aurelius, and there are all these other guys. I've always kind of considered myself a philosopher. I don't know, sounds cool, but at this point, I'm not as intrigued by the title. I don't think I really call myself that anymore. In fact, I think I called myself that when I didn't really have anything going on. Like, now I'm a hustler, I have a house, I have wives that I get to take care of, and they take care of me in other ways, obviously. But the whole philosophical bullshit thing, it doesn't intrigue me as much, but even still, I think to an extent, that's what I am, all right? But here's a quote from Epictetus. Is that how you say that? Epictetus? Epictetus, can you guys let me know? Contemplate your own death. Check this out. I am not eternal, but a human being, a part of the whole. As an hour is of the day, like an hour I must come, and like an hour pass away. In fact, this isn't the one that I wanted to make a video on, but it transcends that. Here's the one I wanted to make a video on. This one's by Epictetus as well. Remind yourself of the impermanence of things, all right? When giving your child or wife a kiss, repeat to yourself, I am kissing a mortal. So, I think that this happens to me where I just think that this is how life is, and it's just going to go on forever, right? A lot of us have that mentality where it's sort of hard to perceive the reality of death. Like, things have hit me a couple times in my life. I mean, for one, that sort of was like, whoa. Things change, and we're all gonna die, aren't we? You know? I had a good buddy who died when I was 19 years old. Yeah, I was 19, he was 21. Very interesting guy. I knew him for years, and very, very unique character about him. He was kind of a social outcast, which are generally the sort of people that I'm intrigued by, right? I don't really like the broad path that leads to destruction, if you will. I always have been intrigued by the narrow paths, right? Like, I liked the people who didn't so much want to be a sheep, you know, or who weren't a part of the cattle in the herd. I always liked the ones who were unique, the ones that were like, oh, that's interesting, you can keep me entertained, you know? And they weren't as much influenced by all the little social nuances, because those sort of people, the ones who take that narrow path as well, I think they're real, obviously. There's something real about them. There's something authentic about them. And you get to see who they really are to an extent. They're not hiding as much as the others, as the nether apes. But that's why I like this guy. And it's funny as hell. Him and I would improvise all sorts of stuff. We'd act out scenes. We're kind of actors, right? Like, we did theater in high school and all that. And I was in some of the shows. I think our director didn't like this guy. I mean, the guy was fucking weird. But that's why I liked him. But I just... that's how it went, and he was never cast in the shows, but he was a funny-ass guy, and very unique qualities about him. But nonetheless, he died fucking around with drugs, all right? I wasn't into that, but he was. He started getting involved with some guys, and I would still hang out with him every other week or so, and all of a sudden the guy dies a couple days after I hung out with him doing some shit. It was a bit shocking, but at the same time, I was almost ready for it. Strangely enough, this guy would always talk about his death, how he's going to die young, this, that. I mean, fuck, I didn't know he was going to die that young, but I guess he was right, You know, like when I said we would improvise things together, he'd often improvise a scene where, like, people were at his funeral. It's really weird. And we'd kind of, like, I'd build up on it. We'd be like, oh, yeah, so-and-so, what a good guy. I wish I would have done this and that. Like, people just talking at his funeral. It was really fucked up. How some would say, oh, he manifested that. I mean, I don't really think that's the case, but maybe it is to an extent. And then just a couple years ago, I lost another buddy, that very unique guy as well, very intelligent, had a MBA from University of Chicago, right? Good at finance, economic shit and all that, math and all that. He was older than me, but he loved to take it from the bottle, you know what I'm saying? He loved to tip them bottoms up and just go. And that's how he fucking died. He was found with his neck all kinked to the side, dead from alcohol. This was just 2 years ago. And that really sucked, you know. This guy was something else. But I think I sort of took life like I was just busy. Like I said, I have my wives and my business, my hustle, my just my abiding every day, where I kind of put him off. And I saw him a couple days before his death. But nonetheless, it's just one of those things that you think is going to be there, and then in an instant, it's just taken away from you. There's nothing you can fucking do, obviously. That's just how this shit works. And losing a dog, you know, that's always a pain in the fucking ass. This dog I grew up with, this beautiful black lab. She was like 16 or 17 years old when she passed away. I was already out of the house. But I'd come by and visit occasionally, and it's just, I always considered her my dog. The family knew she was my dog growing up. She'd sleep in my bed, she'd follow me around. But yeah, shit like that. And another thing, I had the biggest one of them all, I would say, that's affected me the most, even beyond just the death of these folks, is something I gotta live with every fucking day physically. I ripped a pec tendon bench pressing, right? I could bench press 365 pounds for 4 reps. Pretty fucking good for a guy who's 6'4". And I was just going really hard, just beating the shit out of the bar without warming up, and I ripped a pec tendon. And that led to a couple other injuries out of anger and hate for my situation. And I got a couple more injuries since then. They did they did do surgery and to an extent get the tendon back on there. I don't really know how good it is. I'm a couple years out now. But I mean, I still got, got the biceps, got the triceps, kind of. Actually fucked up my tricep, but maybe it'll be okay in the long run. We'll see. But yeah, stuff like that is like, my God, how fragile we are, if there is a God, right? How fragile we are, how easily our bodies can break, and we just get to live with it until we suffer more and then die. It's, on one hand, it's sort of a despairing thing to think, but in this quote about the, when you kiss your wife, when you kiss your child or whatever, just know that it might not really be yours, man, in that you possess them and you can control the outcome, because you could lose them any fucking moment. And it helps. I mean, maybe that's essential for us to live in this current iteration where we can lose these things. I don't really know. Maybe that's essential for our mental stability for the time being. Because if it were the other way around, if we just knew, oh yeah, I'm going to have it all forever, and that's fucking that, nothing's going to change it. We'd probably just take it all for granted and burn, you know what I'm saying? Just like every little thing, and just it just wouldn't mean anything. So maybe, maybe this is an illusion. I don't really know that the Creator has endowed upon us for the time being. And that's another part of the discussion, right? The Creator. Where the hell's the Creator? On one hand, reading these quotes, I think, like part of me has this fantasy, right? I mean, maybe it's not a fantasy. It sounds like one, but where like there's a resurrection and we get these incorruptible bodies, right? And our wives and stuff, they're just, the most beautiful they've ever been, just glowing up and down and, like a eternal ageless youth or something like that. Or just ageless nonetheless, like we're adults and we're mature, but we're not held back by the decay of our physical bodies any longer, stuff like that. And I sort of imagine that, and it does tie in with like the biblical perspective to an extent. I know to many of you that might not matter, and doesn't even matter to me. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I believe in that shit, honestly. With what I've seen and gone through, it's like, God damn, where was the creator when I hurt my fucking arm, and then the other one, and the other one, and then this and that, and this and that. And then I get to live with this fucking bullshit. But the truth is, I guess you could say I'm pretty good in other ways. I mean, I love what I do. I love my day. I love everything about it. And I love spending time with my wives. You guys know what I'm saying? So that's where it is. But it did make me doubt a lot of that. And that still is where I'm at. I'm like, let's just be honest here. What the fuck's on the other side? I mean, maybe the guys in the East are right. I don't really know. And if that's the case, I mean, maybe the creator will have mercy on me and I'll have 72 wives, right? And eternally erected, what? That sounds like a good fucking time, man. But I just, although that's another thing where maybe it would lose its luster if it's all just sort of feeding you, whereas when it comes to the Christian perspective with Jesus and all that, it's sort of a giving out, as well. It's like a reciprocation that's kind of required there. It's like a harmonic reciprocation with your wives and this and that. The giving, the sacrificing, everything else. And I don't know if that's so much over there, to be honest with you guys. But I mean, either way, they both sound pretty damn good. I don't really know which one sounds better, but that's what I grew up with was the Christian perspective. But again, do we know if this shit is true? I don't know. I mean, they talked about it like a river, this life, is what this book was going on about. Just the commentary on that quote, how you never see the same shit in the water twice, It's like a river that goes on forever. And I remember looking down at a river not far from me years ago. And I was like, that's interesting. It's like it could have a beginning. And if it just keeps going and going, you could never see the same shit twice, like there's just different subtle variations and all of it. It's like music or sound waves, which is kind of interesting how in the Bible perspective, even it says that God spoke, you know what I mean? God spoke it into existence. It's like sound waves and all that, it's like these free waves. As opposed to like a static digital fake world built through all the digital shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like a facade or a fake world. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe that stuff is good for what's to come. I don't know. Maybe that's where maybe that's essential as well. The digital stuff. Maybe that's worlds we can enter. I don't know. Memory wipes, right? Stuff like that. But it brings it into perspective. I know some of you guys have kids and some of you guys have young kids. And yeah, I just, I guess what I sort of take from this is, when I see my wives today, I should try to see them as something I might not always have. Cherish this moment with your wives and with your children, if you have them, or just with your family or with your dog. I have a beautiful dog. And I greeted her this morning. She stayed in bed. I opened up the window for her and she looked out the window and took notice to the snow. She's such a beautiful dog. She's a 9-year-old German Shepherd. And she does have some graying going around, but I mean, we feed her a raw food diet and she seems very healthy. But with dogs, as some of you guys know, it can go quick when they start to go. Their bodies start to give out quick because they just age so much faster than us. And she acts like a puppy still, but I just know it could be around the corner. I don't even want to think about it. But with all that stuff being said, make the most of what you have. And one more thing to take from this is that I've sort of noticed is I fret and worry about a lot of bullshit. My family, just feel like there's a lot of division and shit in my family that sort of keeps stress at the forefront of my life. Not my family here, not my wives and stuff, but like the external family, right? That I see like once in a great while. And partly out of obligation. But a lot of that, if you look at it in a way that we're passing through here, and this shit could vanish at any moment, it sort of alleviates the stresses of things, like you have these disagreements, these ailments against people. It's like, just like how my pec ripped off in a millisecond, boom, done. My life is fucking changed forever. So could be said with my life itself, right? And anyone else's for that matter. But yeah, it could to an extent help alleviate stress as well. I mean, it certainly can. But most importantly, take note of that stuff and let me know in the comments below, what perspective do you have regarding this stuff, regarding these sayings, regarding this quote that I shared at the beginning of the video. Let me know in the comments if you guys will, and like this video, and I'll see you soon. Support the meditations if you want through my Patreon. I don't have any sponsors, can't remember what they're called. It seems like every YouTuber, it's just goddamn, as soon as I enter the video, it's just boom, 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 boom. Let's go about the sponsorships. But my only sponsorship is my Patreon. Those who just willingly support me out of their sheer wanting to support me, right? So appreciate you all there, and like this video if you will, subscribe to the page, and I will see you all tomorrow with more meditations from the Iceman.